Welcome to Flash Fiction from Giant's Reach by Steve Cook. I play Dungeons & Dragons. I'm actually Dungeon Master for a game that's been going on for quite a while now, and another long one before that, and I've done lots of one-shots as well. Corpse Dust, which is the name of this episode, is something that has appeared in almost every game in some form or another. The origin is always slightly different, but I long for the day when some player will just take some without thinking about it. Unfortunately, I tend to play with quite canny players who aren't just into taking random substances they found on the ground. I find Dungeons & Dragons is really great for inspiration, especially if you've got a good group of players. Then they come up with exciting and interesting things that always keep you on the back foot. I can definitely say that some of the stories I've written have been inspired by things that have happened in our D&D sessions. Corpse Dust. The boy on the table writhed, eyes wide and bloodshot. "No!" he shouted. "Cole must have more! More!" "Hold him down," Jonah said. His grip on the boy's shoulders loosened as inhuman strength fought for release. Opposite him, the woman who had brought Cole into the workshop had her lips pulled back in disgust, touching her lace-lined handkerchief to her mouth. "Oh, I couldn't possibly," she said. "Hold him down or he will die," Jonah said, leaning all his weight into the boy's body. Cole's stink, old sweat and sewers filled his nostrils. "You brought him in so I could save him, right? Help me." The woman finally snapped out of her stupor and pressed her hands to Cole's arms, then applied a little more pressure. Jonah moved his own hands to cradle the boy's face. Greyness flecked his nostrils, the few yellow-black teeth he had clenched tightly, and beneath the layer of grime, his cheeks were beetroot red. "Hold him there." Jonah moved to his tall cupboard and flung the door open, pushing bottles to the side. Where is it? Where is it? Ah! The one he grabbed was small and white, and he broke the wax seal with his thumb as he came back to Cole's side. "Hurry!" the woman panted, leaning all her weight into the table. "I can't do this for long." Jonah held Cole's jaw in one hand and forced the bottle between his lips with the other, tipping its contents into the boy's mouth. Then he threw the empty bottle to one side. The effect was instantaneous. Cole's mad-eyed stare became hazy, his eyelids drooping, and his limbs relaxed. He closed his eyes and was still. "He'll sleep for a few hours on that," Jonah said, leaning heavily on the table. "Sleeping draught." "Thank goodness." The woman took a couple of steps back and fanned herself with her handkerchief. "Will he be okay?" "I don't know." Jonah began to check Cole over. "I'm Jonah, by the way. Chemic, though I'm guessing you knew that when you brought him in." "Jermaine, I found him out on the street, shaking all over, frothing at the mouth." She shook her head. "What's wrong with him?" Jonah turned Cole's head this way and that, then listened to his chest. "Corpse dust," he said. "I think, anyway. There's been a huge explosion of the stuff on the streets. Not at all the first case I've seen, but he can't be more than 10. He looked up at Jermaine and smiled broadly. "Quite a brave thing you did there, by the way. Many would have just left him to die." "I couldn't," Jermaine said, staring at Cole. "Yorick would have been about his age." "Well, you saved a life today. Well done." Jonah stretched, feeling his muscles aching from holding Cole down. "I suppose I can look after him here, although he really needs a priest, or a few nights in the cells." Jermaine gasped. "Like a criminal?" Jonah moved around the small workshop, picking up a basin of water and a cloth. "Corpse dust is a highly addictive drug. It's not illegal to own, but the only way to get shot of the habit is to not have any for around a week. Just enough and you feel euphoria and well-being. Too much and..." He nodded to Cole. "It's not pretty." He looked back at Jermaine. She was wearing a bottle green dress lined with fine embroidery, although much of it was scuffed with dirt now. "What are you doing out this far, if you don't mind me asking?" "Oh." She blushed, tiny points of red appearing on her cheeks, and looked down. "Well, I was told that some of the best felt work in the city comes from someone with a shop here. Stripes, a cat, I believe. Rough part of town for a lady of upbringing, if you don't mind me saying, Jonah said, and I live here. Well, her smile was sudden and radiant. At least one person is glad I gave the staff the morning off. Perhaps you're right, though. I'll see this Stripes character and make my way. You'll be lucky. He's not been around here for 3-4 days, Jonah said, rinsing the cloth out in the basin. He began to wipe Cole's sweat-drenched arms and bare legs down, revealing pale skin and freckles beneath the dirt. It's not unlike him, perhaps, but I'm afraid your journey's been for nothing. Germaine looked down at Cole again, relaxed in sleep. Not for nothing, she murmured. She nodded to Jonah. Thank you, Miss Germaine, he said, and she left, leaving him alone with the street boy. You've been listening to flash fiction written for my Patreon, Giant's Reach. If you'd like to become a supporter, go to patreon.com/Giant's Reach, where you can find more fiction just like this,